Hey there, and welcome to Drama Queen. I'm your host, Shayla, and today I'm going to talk about my story and how domestic violence has affected my life. First, I'm just going to say, if I'm a little off track and stuff, I am dealing with my ex-boyfriend as we speak. He has showed up to where I am twice already and has threatened me and begged for me back and threatened me all in a matter of 45 seconds. So if I seem distracted or cut, whatever, it's because I'm trying to give you guys a podcast about my life and also make it through the night. Well, anyways, so I'm going to start by stating a statistic that I found that an average of 24 men and women experience abuse every minute. And that's 24 men and women in a matter of 60 seconds being raped, abused physically, emotionally, mentally, and financially, and even stalked by an intimate partner. That's just crazy to me. And like I said, I'm Shayla, and I am a victim of domestic violence. The last 6.5 years, I have dealt with narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse is a form of abuse stemming from narcissistic behavior. It can be emotionally, psychologically, or physically. And narcissistic characteristics include volatile behavior, lack of empathy, and aggression. Narcissistic abuse may include gaslighting, constant criticism, humiliation, and corrosion. They use intimate knowledge or sensitive information shared in trust to manipulate or emotionally wound you. This exploitation can deepen your sense of dependency and weaken your ability to resist control. Yep, that is my life. And that's been my life for the last 6.5 years. I've been physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially abused by my abuser, who, even though I left and have a restraining order on, he has continuously stalked and harassed me to this very moment, actually. And when you think you've gotten away, you start to realize the road is much longer than expected. Just in the last year, I didn't even think I would get away from him alive. I came to realize if I don't go, I'll be dead. I even had my own family come up to me and tell me that they knew he would kill me. That they knew he would kill me. After 6.5 years, I literally had my own family and my own senses, my own body, tell me he will murder me. I'm 26 years old, a single mom of 2. I do have an older son who's 7, and me and his dad co-parent. But I struggle every second of the day with severe PTSD, depression, anxiety, and fear. I am constantly looking over my shoulder, and I'm constantly on fight or flight mode. And to live like that every day, especially with 2 children in your care 24/7, is exhausting. And it's stressful. My children, my 7-year-old and my 3-year-old, one of which are not his, which we're just going to be real and raw here, are in therapy and have both been diagnosed with anxiety because of the trauma they experienced with this person. And how the hell do I live with myself every day knowing that I put my children through this type of shit is beyond me. I'm a mom. I'm supposed to protect them. I'm supposed to love them. I'm supposed to care for them, nurture them. And I, every day, wake up questioning myself as to why I have stuck around and damaged 2 of my children emotionally and mentally. For what? Well, that's another story for a different podcast. But so for now, I say, let's get back to the why. I'm doing this, like I said before, in the last year, I didn't think I'd make it out of this alive. I mean, last year, my youngest son, who is a year and a half now, was diagnosed at 6 months old with type 1 diabetes. Mind you, I moved back to St. Paul from Minneapolis. I was in treatment in Minneapolis. We'll get into depth about that in a different one. But anyways, I moved back to St. Paul with my baby dad. And I was pregnant with my 3rd child. And I had him in July of 2023. Or I'm so sorry, 2022. And that whole time that we lived together up until December 1st of just this last month, my ex was never home. He never helped me. He never did, literally was an absent father, an absent person in my life. He was out cheating. He was out at the casino. He was out doing drugs. He was never there. And I took care of the home. I worked for a little bit. I took care of the kids, whatever. Well, at 6 months old, my son was sick for a good 3-4 days. To the point, the day that I brought him into the emergency room, he was literally dying in my arms. And I remember, that weekend calling his father probably 350 times, back to back to back, because my baby would not stop crying, wouldn't eat. His face was sunken in and he was pale. And I had my 3-year-old there, and I couldn't take them both into the emergency room, so I needed him to come and either take the baby or sit there with our other son. And he did not answer the phone. And mind you, finally, the next day, the day I took him in, my ex-boyfriend came into the house and screamed at me because the baby was sick and looked like he was dying. Screamed at me. It was my fault. I spent a week and a half at Children's Hospital by myself with my child. In that moment, when I got to the ER and they rushed us back into that room, and all of the nurses and doctors that were back there, and they asked, what did he get into? What happened? And I'm like, nothing. He's been like this. He's been sick. They said it was an ear infection, nothing. And they're like, we don't know what's going on, but be prepared. He won't make it. And I remember I called their dad again and I said, you need to get up to Children's Hospital. He is not going to make it. They just told me to be prepared for him to die. And he said, you're strong. You got this. Call me with the update. In that exact moment, I knew I do not love this man, and he is a fucking monster. Anyways, I was up there, for a week and a half, about by myself. I had a couple visitors, here and there. His dad came up there one time with my other son, and you're supposed to have 2 parents even learn about the whole diabetic, how to manage it, how to do it, whatever. How to learn how to check his blood sugar, learn how to do the pumps, the sensors, everything. His pancreas died, and now he needs a robotic, I don't know how to explain it, a pump to give him insulin so he doesn't die. And his dad didn't want to learn. And his dad still to this day doesn't want to learn. I've tried to show him. I've told him about doctor appointments, and no, he does not care. So I've been doing that by myself since February 19th. And it's hard. On top of the abuse I've endured. So, anyways, he body slammed me hard on the hardwood floor one time, and I thought that he broke my back. I couldn't walk right. I couldn't carry or hold my children. I couldn't sleep or even sit without being in so much pain. And that pain that I experienced lasted about 2.5 months. And I needed help to care for my children. I had my cousin move in with me because I was in my home alone. Like I said, my ex, he was never there. So my cousin came and helped me. Well, anyways, that night, my cousin took my truck and went down the street to the gas station to go help my sister. And my ex drove by at the time and thought it was me and another dude, which, mind you, my cousin is a female and my sister is a female, obviously, so he's delusional. He even made it a point to pull into the parking lot and hop out of his vehicle and literally have a conversation with them. Screaming, like, delusional, right? Like, he literally thought that was me and another dude, and he literally talked to my sister and my cousin. Well, anyways, he proceeded to drive down the street to my house, and I was sitting at the kitchen table, and my children just fell asleep on the couch, and he literally kicked my front door open, picked me up out of my chair, and body slammed me onto the ground. Mind you, like, I just recently got home from the hospital with my baby. I literally didn't do anything. Like, this whole thing happened literally for absolutely no reason. And it affected the way that I took care of my children, and it affected me. And that's just one of, like, and in that moment, the look in his eyes, I knew, like, oh, he is going to kill me. Like, there is something really going on with him that he is going to kill me. And when you live like that, you do whatever you can to be on their good side, until you can figure out. I mean, when I leave, my 2 children come with me. And so I had to figure out where I was going to go, where I was going to stay, who was going to help me, everything. I literally had no money. I had nothing, no support, nothing. It was just me and my children. So that's why I stuck around for so long, because that was my home. That was my children's home. Like, if I left, I would be homeless. It got to the point where literally he was destroying my vehicle every other day. To the point where I couldn't bring my child into the emergency room because he came and slashed my tires just because he fucking felt like it. He's kicked my door in so many times. My door is destroyed. My house is honestly destroyed. Well, it was destroyed. It's not my house no more. He threatened me and my children that he would kill us. He would chase me around town, and I'm talking chasing to where he was swerving his truck into my truck going high speeds. One time he chased me down University in St. Paul because his mom turned his phone off. And it was my fault. So he chased me down University. Me and my cousin and my son were in the car. And I was on the phone with dispatch screaming at them to help me because I was so scared. And at a red light, I couldn't get through traffic. I was laying on my horn screaming, and he hopped out and slashed my tires right on University. And the cops came, and they're like, well, which, I mean, the cop situation is a whole nother story too, so we won't even get into that. But I never received help from the police. He has put a tracker on my vehicle twice now. He destroyed 5 of my phones. He slandered my name on social media. He has hit me. He has drugged me around the house. He's belittled me, degraded me, telling my boys, my children, that he didn't want them and that he's not their dad. Calling them horrible names. I mean, this is just a year. This is just the last year of what has happened. Yeah. And anytime I'd call the police, it would take them 40 minutes to show up. And there was so many times when the cops would show up and literally, I have witnesses that have heard this come out of their mouths, literally would tell me that domestic violence was not a priority, that they were dealing with people shooting each other and killing each other and robbing each other, and that I was last priority. With bruises on my body, video footage of him attacking me, like literal proof. And they told me, nope, can't do nothing about it until you get a restraining order. He kidnapped my 3-year-old son, and I called the cops. They almost put out an Amber Alert, but they swarmed him. Sheriffs and police officers swarmed him. And they literally let him go. The police let him go. The sheriffs wanted to, arrest him or whatever, but the police let him go. And there was even one time where I had it all on video of him attacking my friend because she was trying to get him out of the house. And he attacked her. And I have it on video from the moment he got into my house to the moment I literally told him I'm calling the cops. And the cops showed up in literally 5 minutes, and it was 2 police officers. Mind you, that was the fastest I've ever seen St. Paul police come to my house for domestic violence. They showed up so fast, they came to my door, and it was these 2 cops. They asked, which one of you is Shayla? And I said, I am. And they're like, okay, so you're the baby mom. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, Jason called. And I said, no, I called. And they're like, okay, well, what happened? Mind you, my friend was bleeding and bruised up in a matter of minutes. So, right? Well, anyways, I showed them the video. And this cop, with my baby, with my 1.5-year-old in my arms, screamed at me and told me that it was all my fault, that I am the reason this happened. And mind you, I literally did not do anything. And I'm talking installed fear into my soul. To the point that I called 911 on cops. I called 911 on them. He got in my face and literally powered over me and installed fear into my body. That I literally ran up the stairs to where my cousin was and was so shocked by fear. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even move. I literally couldn't breathe. And ever since then, I don't even call the police. They don't do anything for me. They don't care. They literally have told my cousin before, they don't care. Well, if she's dead, they don't care about me dying, being I'm not lying to you. I have talked to sergeants. I have talked to commanders. I have talked to sheriffs. And I have gotten no support from the St. Paul police. I guess I can't say St. Paul police in general because Eastside has helped me way more than the other, than where I was, which was Midway, Frogtown. And so anyways, so I knew I was leaving. I didn't know when, and I didn't know how, and I didn't know whatever, and I had no support from, like I said, police officers or really anybody. So, December 1st, I walked away from my home with my children, with only my truck and some belongings, and I had nowhere to go besides my vehicle. So I sacrificed my stability, my home, my children's home and stability to finally escape him. I have a restraining order. I am going to be in my truck. I don't even care. As long as I'm away from him, I don't even care that I'm in my truck. And, you know, you would think I would be free with a restraining order and running away. Well, no. He calls my phone hundreds of times a day, back to back to back, to where I have to turn my phone off, which affects my son's health, like, because my phone is connected to my son's blood sugar sensor. Like, it's just insane. And then he would find out where I was staying. He found out I was staying in a hotel at one point, and he put a tracker on my truck. He was sending me my location. He literally, like, would not stop. And he hasn't stopped. Like, he just pulled up to where I was tonight. So even though I'm, like, deathly afraid of him, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna be the voice to stand up and bring awareness to what made this whole idea start. I'm gonna be the voice for domestic violence, for the victims, the survivors, the children, because I am in it right now, alone, terrified, looking over my shoulder, devastated, suffering with my mental health and my child's health and my other children's mental health. And literally, like, the whole idea of my podcast, Drama Queen, is because the other day I was with my children and my cousin, and I was driving downtown. I was heading back to where I was staying, and he had a tracker on me, and he found me downtown, like, came out of nowhere and came up, like, drove up right next to my truck. And he was following me, like, you know, nudging at me, speeding, calling me a million times. I couldn't, you know, do anything else. And I saw that there was 2 cops, like, up ahead of me, and I went up behind them and I followed them into downtown St. Paul. Like, you know, I was trying to leave downtown St. Paul, whatever. Anyways, I was behind 2 cops, and I was going to follow them until either A, he went away from me, or B, he did something so damn dumb that the cops would do something. And he fled because he saw the police, obviously. And it clicked right in that moment. And I said to my cousin, I was like, you know what? I need to publicly expose him. What if I just start publicly exposing him? The shit he does, what he says, how he is, the insanity of it all. Maybe he'll stop and leave me alone. And she's like, honestly, at this point, might as well. And so the next day, like, I didn't think really much more of it. And the next day I was going to my son's school to pick him up. And I'm not even lying. Like, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to be the voice for women and children. I'm going to save lives. I'm going to raise awareness. Because I'm sorry, but when you're in an abusive relationship, you hear from so many people that there's so many resources. There's so much help out there. Like, you just have to do this. And no, there's not. I mean, in the state of Minnesota where I'm at, there's not. Because I did everything that they asked. I still get harassed. I still, you're supposed to get all this help. I have been homeless since December 1st, living in my truck or couch hopping or stayed in a hotel for a couple days, spent the last of my money to be in a hotel. So my kids would have a bed to sleep in, and I would have a bed to sleep in. And I have no help. You know what I'm saying? Like, the advocacy groups, the police, like, there's no help. The county, nothing. There's no help. And I'm just, like, mind blown at how people judge women, men, whatever, that go back to their ex, their abusive ex. They judge them and they talk shit about them. And it's because, why? Sadly, that's where there was some stability. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I sat here and dealt with the abuse some more, I would still have a roof over my head. My kids would still have their bedroom, you know, like, and people don't understand that literally you guys sit here and talk all this shit. Oh, she just went back, or she's being over dramatic, or obviously she's lying, or, you know, whatever. No, I would just rather have a warm bed to sleep in than my cold fucking vehicle. Right? I've been so isolated from the world, I don't even have friends anymore because of the abuse I've endured. So I'd rather be with my abuser than be out on the streets alone. You get played like you're the problem when really you're the victim. And then the abuser gets fucking all his friends and his family, and man, he's fucking sleeping with his homeboy, living at his homeboy's crib in a nice fucking warm bed with food and whatever else he's got going. He's got a job, like everything. He's living his life, and I'm sitting here in my fucking truck with my babies, struggling every day to even stay alive because I'm struggling so bad mentally. And nobody, not one person has even asked me if I'm okay. From an advocacy group, from family and friends support, nobody has asked, are you okay, Shayla? Nobody. Nobody's reached out. I'm the one constantly reaching out to everybody. And so that is why people don't leave their abusers, because they leave with nothing. And then they leave and people talk shit, make fun of them, like just destroy their mental health and their image even more. People don't understand, like, I'm sorry. I know I fucked up by staying so fucking long, but I don't need to hear you talking shit about it. I don't need to hear, oh, well, you should have left earlier, or that, whatever anybody has to say. I don't fucking want to hear it. Because I literally have nothing but myself and my 2 children that look at me every day and cry because they want to go home, or cry because they're scared that their dad is gonna come and hurt us or hurt their mom. And I deal with that all by myself. And I've called so many advocacy groups. I've called them multiple times, like over and over and over and over again. I'm on every shelter fucking waiting list you can think of. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that is why I'm like, fuck this. We need somebody. We need somebody on the other side of the abuse to walk us through, to show us that it's going to be okay. And that it is going to be okay, because guess what? I just got a phone call today, that finally, after a month and a half of being homeless, I am accepted for a 2-bedroom. And that's amazing. Like, if you guys see my story, my reel, whatever, I was crying. Like, my children finally have a fucking home again. And we finally have something, you know? And so I made this because I can't let anybody suffer alone anymore. And I just want whoever is going through this or has been through this, I want them to know that they are so loved. You are so loved, and you're no longer alone. And you and I as a team, we can get through this together. And I got you. I see you, and I am you. And we're going to heal. And this is going to be a place where you know you are loved. And you know you are safe. And you are supported. I am going to show you everything that you have longed for. Like the need of safety and the love that we have been deserving of. And I'm even going to post my link to my WhatsApp so that if anybody wants to reach out and just vent or just whatever, if you just need somebody to listen or you need some resources or you need some advice or you just, anything you need, the support, if you just need somebody to tell you that you are worthy and you are loved and you matter, I am your person. And I will do whatever it takes to save a life. Because I know how it feels to be so alone and to want to just end it all. But we're going to get through it together. And I am here for you. And we're just going to do this one day at a time and 1 minute at a time. That's all we need, okay? So that's a little bit of my story. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope that I touched somebody, gave someone courage, or gave someone a sense of a little bit of relief. I'll be posting more podcasts in the next couple days. I want you all to know that I love you guys and I am here for you.